It's been a little while since my last update video. Let's check out Putterland 2 Pre-Alpha 5. So I've changed the starting area a little bit, your headquarters. There's a new garage, and the garage actually has new functionality. If I go into the square here and use it, I then have our parking spot menu, and I can choose from my stored vehicles. In here, we can actually pull out whatever we want. If we take the K180 out here and we take it for a spin, we can park it. If I go to my garage, well, it's not there anymore. So instead, I can take something else out if I want, say the school bus, which is another new vehicle to this build. So Putterland 2, the project started in Unreal 5.3, and earlier when I migrated to Unreal 5.4, it was a totally painless process. I just opened the project up in the new version of Unreal, recompiled my shaders, and then it all just worked. I thought it would be the same case here. Unreal 5.5, the latest version, promises all sorts of performance gains, so I thought, why not? Let's do it. I couldn't have been more wrong. On migrating to Unreal 5.5, the whole project fell apart. The issue there was that all of the project's blueprints, all throughout them, there were references to data structures. These data structures were created by me using Blueprint. Think of these structures as bundles of data. The player's save data structure, for instance, contains whether or not the player has an inverted Y, their sensitivity, whether or not they want the map to follow with the camera or not, and their current camera mode. In Blueprint, if I were to create a structure and start using it throughout the project, everything would work fine. The problem arises when you change the contents of a structure or the structure of a structure after the fact. I'm not so good of a programmer to actually know ahead of time what every structure is going to look like for the duration of the project, and so guess what? I had to change some structures here and there. Well, when moving my project to Unreal 5.5, any references to a modified structure were broken, more or less throughout the project. With some Googling, it turns out this isn't an uncommon problem. The only fix, it would seem, would be to recreate those structures and replace them throughout the project. So, I decided to recreate these structures not in Blueprint, but in C++, so that if I do migrate in the future, this doesn't happen again. I'm also going to get better performance writing things in C++ rather than Blueprint. Now, I get it. These are just structures. It's not, actual code. But this is the start of an actual rewrite of the code in C++. I don't know C++, and I don't have any real coding experience beyond toying with some HTML or the basics of BASIC, growing up back in the day using, say, a Commodore 64. But anyway, I took the leap. I dived in, and truth be told, it only took me a day to create the game's load-bearing structures in C++ and replace them throughout the project. And it all works, and it's been implemented, and it compiled, and it works in Unreal 5.5. That's what you've been seeing here. Next, I want to recreate the game's actual load-bearing code in C++, but that seemed like a rather daunting task. So I decided to create a more simple project. Back in October, I played through Silent Hill 2 on the PS2. And so I decided to recreate something similar here in Unreal 5. I created the game logic for this game in Blueprint in a matter of hours, and then decided to recreate it in C++. That took me a couple of days. I was able to figure out what I wanted to do pretty quickly. Anyway, it's a pretty simple game. You can move the character around. This character is using Unreal's built-in character movement and character pawn. You can also interact using a generic interaction interface. You'll have to take my word here that we're using an interface. The only object you can interact with here are the doors, but they work. This is important. I use interfaces a lot in Putterland, and so implementing one here was pretty critical. The camera can also update based on player position. You'll see that when I walk in here, it'll change camera. While I come over here, it'll change to another camera. This is achieved using overlappers. The camera has a big, say, cube in the world, which defines when you're in its area or not. Every tick, the player controller is going to say, hey, where's the player? Get which cameras it's overlapping, and then it's going to do a loop. It's actually going to check if you're overlapping multiple cameras, which of those cameras has the highest priority. And this way, say when I come out here, I'm actually overlapping two cameras, the one that's zoomed in on the door, as well as this one. However, the one that is zoomed in on the door is a higher priority. The active camera can also update with each tick. So here in this camera, it'll actually pan with the camera, or with the player, as the player walks and indeed moonwalks through the scene. It's all simple stuff, really, but the building blocks of everything that I need to rewrite Putterland 2 are all right here. Anyway, that's probably all for this one, and I'm really glad I did it. While I was previously terrified of C++ and, say, real programming, it's obvious that my time spent in Blueprint has actually given me a good understanding of programming and its fundamentals. I'm now far more excited about the prospect of rewriting Putterland in C++. Anyway, thanks for watching.